In my opinion, there have been very few things more revolutionary than the internet, if any. Never before has it been easier to share, to learn, and to discover. It's kind of mind-blowing how fast information can spread now. But the key word there is share. Sharing through the internet has given rise to a number of notable people who have been able to distribute their craft on a scale never before possible. The potential to reach anyone in the world who's willing to listen. It's given rise to internet celebrities, scholars, and boy bands. Brockhampton is one of those boy bands. But they're definitely not your typical boy band. Now look, I don't want to undersell Brockhampton's music, because it's pretty great stuff, especially when you take into consideration the scope of their Saturation project. 3 albums and 2 hours and 42 minutes of music, all released in 2017. That's impressive. Here's a massive list of the members currently residing in Brockhampton. They're a boy band because they can't really be lumped into a specific genre, and, you know, there are a lot of boys in the band. And if avoiding being placed into a box is their objective, I think they're doing a pretty good job. Their music is,
Are the bills paid? Does it make a break? Will I find a way? Have my feelings changed? Will I be okay? I don't know. But what I do know is
on over my heart like a supreme panther. Go 100 speed, blowing steam, I throw a tantrum. Behind your eyes and
well, it speaks for itself. The internet has played a huge role in Brockhampton's success. They've even got their roots in it. The story goes that the founding members met on a Kanye West fan forum. Okay, so meeting through the internet is a pretty integral part of the group's history, but it goes further than that. The internet was also vital to how Brockhampton was able to release so much music in such a short period of time. Let's pretend there's no internet for a second. Let's pretend it would have been possible for Brockhampton to form in the first place, and they wanted to get their music out the old-fashioned way through a record deal. So they'd go to the record label and they'd say, hey, we want to release almost 3 hours of music on 3 separate records in 2017. Think of record labels as investors. Would any reasonable investor be willing to invest in a group with only one prior mixtape and weird music that might not appeal to the mainstream, like
ghetto in here flashing. Ooh, them boys stay nasty. Floating like Aladdin. Them the ones you talking to.
I'm not so sure, and honestly, who even knows if the mainstream at the time would have accepted Brockhampton either? With the internet and music becoming more accessible than ever, that means everyone gets a chance to express themselves sonically. That's led to some pretty weird music over the years. Over time, audiences have gotten more accepting of the music they consume. That's not to say there weren't any bands kicking around underground and making out their music prior to the internet age and people who would listen to them, but their music definitely wasn't accessible to everyone who would have wanted to listen, and most of them stayed underground. Who knows how mainstream audiences would have reacted to Brockhampton pre-internet, but that's part of the beauty of Brockhampton. They're doing what they want to do, and they're able to put it onto the internet, where it doesn't matter what audience you cater to, because someone's gonna find your music and love it anyways. You don't even have to cater to the mainstream as much as you had to in the past. And honestly, what does mainstream even mean now? Brockhampton is definitely getting mainstream attention, so does that make them mainstream? We're living in a time now where underground musicians can be just as successful as mainstream musicians, if not even more successful. I hope that Brockhampton keeps making weird music. Brockhampton is proof that you can do whatever you want and be whoever you want on the internet and still be successful. Also, it's pretty fun to say that I'm a fan of a boy band.
I was clean, Tony Fontano.